pay off nearly $200,000 in student debt. Scholars at the top debt, student debt, student debt. Trump administration drowning in debt did more to help some drowning in debt.
The energy, escape, and exploration of unfamiliar
Use your
places.
employee discount for everyone to get over $6,000 below MSRP on this dependence when you finance with GM Financial. Get the Chevy
White
employee
Plus
discount for everyone.
and the parents all about
These notes happening now. Dramatic New color sensational super saturated colors, soft matte finish.
To introduce Wendy's new natural cut fries with sea salt, at Wendy's we use only Swiss cheese cooked with the skin on.
The new Bacon Smokehouse Burger. It's the newest flavor of the signature crafted recipes by McDonald's.
Hurry in for the best deals we've had in years. Money-saving rebates on brakes, batteries, tires, and more. See your participating Ford dealer today.
Now only $1. Participating restaurants for limited time. Small discounts.
No answers, only shattered bombs, armory of guns, ammunition, tripods, and scopes recovered from the hotel room were 223 caliber and 308 caliber semi-automatic rifles, possibly illegally converted into machine guns.
$15 million. Somebody from China. Am I supposed to dislike it? Casino.
Put them away.
I completely agree with you. I think some of the data points that we used to see in the past are now just muddled because there's so much coming at you.
We will respond back to you. This was not about and it was
I own a big chunk in the Bank of America. Our actions is to establish a strong deterrent against China in a war. Very vast. The biggest bank in the world.
And your family and all of your fellow Americans. The escalating tension over North Korea has been playing
Russia
last week all over the world. Since Pyongyang tested
Saudi
its
Arabia
newest
denied it
intercontinental
ordered
ballistic
journalist
missile
Jamal
on July
Khashoggi to be
4th.
killed.
Iran.
Turkey says Saudi Arabia brutally murdered Khashoggi.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
While doctors agree the benefit of cancer treatment still outweighs the risks, the message today, be sure to take care of your heart, too.
The past are now just muddled because there's so much coming at you.
Hey you! Yeah, you getting off the boat. Are you new here? What? I can't hear you. There's another boat coming in. The bell's too loud. Welcome. I hope you're ready to begin your new life here in Seaside. Why do we call it that? Well, just listen. You know, there's not much to this small town, but let me tell you, we've got heart. I'll give you a quick tour. I'm Elroy, by the way. So, to your left here, remember that fish you smelt the whole way here? Well, we catch it, and this is where it's cooked to perfection. Sometimes I love to just sit and listen to the crackle of the fire and the sizzle of the fish. Smells great, eh? Alright, quit your drool and come along with me. Hello, ladies. Alright, so over here, this is where the fish gets sold. We've got farmers who bring the foods from the farm to sell. We've got fishermen who bring the fish to sell. And you know, other people just sell everything in between. Just jump in there, see if you can get a word in. It's pretty loud. You don't talk much, do you? Well, that's... The pirates are back. Duck and cover, and we'll get you inside as quick as possible. Around here. Yep. Over this. Perfect. Around this corner. You're doing great, man. Keep up. Oh, man. The cannons are going off. Right in here. John's Saloon. Come in with me. That was a close one. But we're safe here. See this girl up on stage? She's up there tap dancing every night and the crowd loves her. Oh, duck, man. It was a close one. People are throwing glasses all the time around here. They're rowdy people. Check it out. We got some meatheads duking it out. I'll bet you $2 that the one with the beard wins. I take that back. Like I said though, the crowd here loves this girl. They're always giving her a warm applause. Anyways, mate, that's the quickest tour I could give you. Once again, I'm Elroy, and I hope you enjoy your new life here in Seaside.
Have you ever heard the story of House Grey? Then here, have a listen. It started off as a quiet autumn day, each day as normal as the last. A young Kelly Grey walked up the driveway to her home. She looked at the door for a while, and then turned to a window instead, and without hesitation, she punched it in. Her father lay sound asleep on his chair. She brought a gun up to his head, cocked it, and shot him dead. She then went up the stairs to find her mother, terrified and on the verge of tears. She hesitated, pointed the gun and shot at her anyway. But she missed. Her mother cried and begged for her life. But Kelly simply cocked her gun and shot her. Kelly snapped out of her trance and saw her mother's body on the floor. She became hysterical. And out of guilt, she shot herself dead. The neighbors had heard the gunshots and screaming and called the police, but by the time they arrived, all of House Grey was dead. And the police reports just say she was crazy, but no one really knows why she did it, and no one speaks of it either, not to this day.
You are sitting at your desk in your downtown office building overlooking the city skyline. The office is warm, so you decide to open the window for some air. The sounds of the city begin to fill your office cubicle. A siren can be heard as an emergency vehicle passes along the street. Someone has sent you a fax and the fax machine is printing it off for you. A train full of passengers rolls by along the raised tracks across the street. The office rumbles as an airplane leaves the city's nearby airport. You are receiving a call on your telephone and decide to shut the window so you can focus on the phone call. Thank you.
Oh, Mama.
Chip wailed as his mother, Mrs. Potts, ran the water in the sink.
Why do I have to take a bath? Now, Chip.
Mrs. Potts said as she gave Chip a good scrubbing with a sponge.
You want to look your best for your birthday tomorrow, don't you?
I guess so.
Chip giggled.
That tickles.
He said as Mrs. Potts patted him dry with a towel.
All right, we're all done now.
Mrs. Potts said.
Look, Belle.
Chip cried as Belle walked into the kitchen.
I'm clean as a whistle.
Belle laughed.
You look very nice.
She said.
Are you excited about your birthday tomorrow?
Am I?
Chip cried happily.
Mama says that we'll play lots of games. Isn't that right, Mama?
Mrs. Potts nodded.
That's right, Chip.
She said,
Do you think I'll have a birthday cake too?
Chip asked Belle.
Well, I don't know.
Belle said, winking at Mrs. Potts.
I guess you'll just have to wait and see.
Just then, Chip yawned.
All right, Chip. Time for bed.
Mrs. Potts said as she nudged him toward the china cabinet.
But how can I sleep when I'm so excited about my birthday?
Chip asked, yawning again.
Oh, I think you'll manage.
Mrs. Potts said as she gave him a quick kiss.
Good night.
Good night.
Belle said.
Good night.
Chip said. His eyelids were very droopy. In another minute, he was fast asleep. A few hours later, Chip awoke with a start. The kitchen was very dark. There wasn't even a crack of light coming in from the door to the hallway. Everyone must be asleep, Chip thought. He blinked sleepily. Suddenly he heard a long, slow creak, and then the rattle of metal. It must be coming from the silverware drawer, thought Chip.
Who's there?
Chip whispered into the darkness. But nobody answered. Then the noise stopped. But soon it started again, more quickly this time. Chip shivered.
Come out and show yourself,
He said, trying to be brave. He wished that there was some light in the kitchen. He couldn't see a thing. Suddenly, the drawer closed with a bang. Then, Chip heard footsteps and the low click of the door closing.
I better go see who it is.
Chip said as he jumped out of the china cabinet.
What if it's a ghost or a monster? I'll go warn Mama and Belle and they'll wake the beast.
Chip was pretty sure the beast would scare away any ghost or monster that got into the castle, as long as someone warned him in time. Carefully, Chip climbed down from the table and hopped into the hall. Someone had forgotten to close the curtains, and the light from the moon shone into the hallway. But Chip still couldn't see very well. Suddenly, a floorboard squeaked. Chip ducked behind some draperies. Then, Chip heard voices. "I've got them," a voice whispered. "Good, let's go," another voice said. "The others are waiting." Others? Chip thought. Could the house be full of ghosts and monsters? Chip was scared. Sure enough, the floorboards above Chip's head let out a low squeak. The ghosts and monsters were everywhere. The creatures were making their way up the stairs. Chip peeked out from behind the curtains to see what they looked like. But it was still too dark. Chip couldn't see very well. If Chip wanted to get a better look at the creatures, then he was going to have to follow them up the stairs. The little teacup hopped up the stairs, quietly. When he reached the second floor, he stopped. Along the wall, Chip saw a long shadow. It must have been one of the monsters, he thought. It was enormous and had a large, bumpy head and sharp claws. It was even more frightening than the beast. Finally, the shadow of the monster disappeared into the room, and Chip just had to see what the monsters looked like, so he decided to go in. He took a deep breath and quickly hopped to the door and let it swing open. When he saw what was inside, he let out a gasp.
Chip!
Belle cried.
What are you doing up so late?
"My heavens!" Cogsworth, the mantel clock, shouted as he dropped the large present he was carrying. "We haven't even finished decorating for your surprise breakfast birthday party yet."
Surprise party?
Chip asked.
You mean there are no ghosts or monsters?
"Goodness, no," said Lumiere the candelabrum.
Why were you in the kitchen?
Chip asked. Cogsworth held up a pair of scissors. "We needed these for the silverware drawer," he explained, "to cut the streamers." Belle laughed.
Well,
She said,
I guess this really was a surprise.
Chip grinned. He was glad that the surprise had turned out to be a party and not a bunch of ghosts and monsters.
Thanks, everyone,
He said happily.
This is the best birthday surprise ever.